Alright, so we'll be taking out the old clutch slave cylinder, and there's the reservoir for it. So that looks really gross. And then I got a new one right here, so we'll pop that in, and then the new engine block should be here any minute now. Two 10mm bolts hold that on, and there's just a little fitting here. All you have to do is push that little plastic piece in, and then that slides off. And I believe it also came with a new O-ring too, so that should be in the kit. Okay, I got that connected down there, new O-ring, and I'm going to put this brake fluid in here. I cleaned this all out, so we'll try to do this without spilling it. Then I'll open the bleeder valve and then use my vacuum bleeder to pull the fluid through, and it should be good to go. Well, it's running a little rough. I gotta figure out what's going on with that, but you know, it's warmed up and everything is fine. It's got good oil pressure. It's not overheating. But yeah, the exhaust smells a little funky. It just seems like it's missing, so I gotta just figure out what's going on. Well, maybe it is the motor, because it's got this weird squeaking noise now. Not sure what that is. Okay, this is where we're at. We have quite a few misfires. Been trying a lot of things. Changed the map sensor, the crank position sensor, put brand new gas, emptied the gas, put all brand new gas in, but the car still runs really bad, and the idle is bad. You can kind of see how much it's shaking the car a ton. The exhaust smells really bad. Definitely a little bit of valve train noise, but yeah, I don't know why it's running really terrible. I've tried working on this for hours and hours and hours, and I can't seem to figure out what's going on with it. I tried redoing a ground to the injector harness, everything. Yeah, super strange. I moved the Corvette over here because it's going to be out of commission for a little bit. So I'm going to pull this motor out, the one we just put in. It has issues. So I got my other block sent off to the machine shop, and I'm working on cleaning some of the parts up, clean the oil pan up, got everything over here, got everything labeled and put in order, got a new gasket set for it up here. So I'll be rebuilding that motor that was originally in the car, and then that'll be going back in after I get it back from performance porting, probably sometime this week. So time to do this a second time, so hopefully this time it'll actually work. Motor a second time, so second time pulling it out was a lot faster than the first time. Yeah, so that motor is no good, so I'm going to be rebuilding mine once I get the block back. So that's the plan. Okay, so we got the engine back from the machine shop. They welded this up for me and machined both sides, so now everything is really nice and flat. The block was actually not flat, even though this was apparently rebuilt. I also have to get all new main bearings and rod bearings because it's like they assembled it with sand. The main and rods are already kind of done for, so we're going to put new ones in and check it with some plastic gauge. That's the status so far. So, what we're doing is hand polishing this crankshaft because the machine shop did a terrible job. So we're going to start with 800 grit, and then go to 1000 grit, and then go to 1500 grit, and then go over it with some metal polish. And that should get some of these lighter grooves off, and then we'll test the connecting rods and mains with some plastic gauge. We're getting really close, you guys. So this is the fresh rebuild motor that I had the block fixed on, so they welded it and then remachined it. And then I threw new rod bearings in it and main bearings, ARP studs, and some new head gaskets. So that's going to be going in here. Priming the oiling system on this new build. I took the valve covers off just to make sure that there's oil coming through the push rods. So I was waiting to make sure that those were coming in. So if I turn the key, it's kind of hard to do with my phone and holding it, but basically we'll have oil pressure if I crank it. Spark plugs are out, but then we'll see we're building oil pressure. The gauge doesn't work when you're cranking, but then we can see that there's oil coming out of the lifters. And nothing sounds like it's binding, so I think we'll be okay. We'll give it a go here in a bit. Okay, it's the next morning. I took it around the block a few times. Everything seems to be doing good, so I'll probably change the oil filter here in a second. But yeah, it sounds good. It's running good. Even when it warmed up, I think we still got good oil pressure. So it's not overheating or anything, so I think we're okay. We're under the Corvette waiting for the Amazon truck to get me my ARP bolt. But I had to replace the harmonic balancer because this one was wobbling and it was starting to crack. I should have replaced it when I had the engine out, but I didn't even think about it. The belt was chirping a little bit. So I grabbed a new one, threw it in there. Everybody was saying to take the steering rack out, but all I did was drop the subframe on the one side, and it's kind of angled down, and it was enough to clear it. So got it in there, got it pressed in with the installer tool with this thrust bearing. But now I just need to wait for the truck so I can get my new bolt, and then I'll torque that to like 250 foot-pounds, and hopefully should be good to go after that.